Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Stephen A. Williams with Making Money with Stephen A. Williams on YouTube. Thank you for watching my videos. And today I have a good one for you. This is going to help you so much if you're struggling with your business, if you're struggling even staying motivated to even move forward with your business. I asked my wife something over the weekend. Something just came to my mind, and I said this because people are skeptical. People don't know who to trust, and then sometimes they trust people, they don't come through for them. So it's like the world is like it's crazy right now. It can seem crazy if you don't know who to trust, or if you haven't found someone that you can trust to kind of help guide you. And in my life, I've been able to find people that help guided me, especially when I was younger. And I still have people that I consult with even today for business, or even just to have personal conversations with. And but I said to my wife, we were driving up to our office to drop off some stuff over the weekend, and I said to her, if we as the couple today could go back to when we started in 1990, with everything that we got, would we believe ourselves? Like if we were to go back to the past, and we're like telling ourselves, hey, you are gonna have successful business within 4 years of starting the business that you started right now in 1990, it's gonna be very successful. And then even past that, it's gonna continue to grow. And then later you're gonna have all of these things. And so I was just saying, like, being general, like just general what we believe. And we had said, I don't know if we would believe. So then the conversation ended, but I just kept thinking about it the whole weekend. I was thinking about this the whole weekend. What if I could take myself back to my 20-year-old self? Like this is me now with everything that I have, all the accomplishments, and then go back and say, this is what you're gonna have. Would I move forward a lot easier without doubts? Because back then I had a lot of doubts, but I kept moving forward. But would I move forward faster because I would already know what was gonna happen? And guess what? Even my wife said this, is that there's some stuff that we would still doubt. And I'm like, if I couldn't convince myself, like this is me, and I'm talking to myself when I was younger. If I would still be skeptical, she said she would be skeptical about certain stuff that she would tell herself. And then when I thought about myself, I had to admit that I would still probably be skeptical about a lot of stuff that I would be telling myself, even though it is me. So think about this. I was like, so I went down, like I was thinking like the whole weekend, like, okay, at first I was just saying, what if you just talked to, like you went back to the past and you were talking to yourself, and you were like, hey, this is going to happen for you, all of that stuff. And then I was like, I'm going to be skeptical. So then what I did is I changed it. I said, I'm going to go and I'm going to have everything that I have, and I'm going to take it there and be like, okay, these are your businesses. This is your business. You own these businesses. This is your bank account. You have this building here that used to be a bank. It's yours, 100% yours. You have another building. This is your building. Like, touch it. This is your building. That's yours. Touch it. These are your cars. This is your family. All of that stuff. You like, I'm thinking about my younger self. You like cars. Did you know that you're gonna have, I think I've had 5 Mercedes-Benz. You're gonna have 2, not just 1, 2 H2 Hummers. One for you, one for your wife. You're gonna have Range Rover, 2 of them. Not just one, you've had 2 Range Rovers. And then your wife, you're going to have a Jeep, you're going to have an RV. You're going to take all these trips. Like, touch this stuff. Like, what I'm saying is, like, even you could touch this. This is your car. This is your house. This is all your stuff. Touch it. And then you have the ultimate car that people all over the world believe is just the car that shows that you have status of being successful in business, a Rolls Royce. Touch it. That's yours. Here, play with the controller. Listen to it. You know, sit in it. This is yours. And I even said to myself, even if I could do all of that, that I would still be skeptical. And when I thought about it, I said, what could I actually say to myself to believe it? Like you could see all of that stuff and you could touch it and all of that. And not to say that that stuff isn't important, because we are in business because we want to get, you know, we want to get to a certain level. We want to have things. We want to show that we have accomplished stuff. But when it came down to it, this is exactly what would have made me believe that all of that stuff would be true. Right here. Right here. So, let me tell you. I was like, what could I say to myself to make me believe, my younger self, to make me believe fully, without any doubt, to be able to move forward? And it came down to this. And I think that this will be even for you. This is how you would be thinking, hopefully. I think that for sure, I know this for sure about everybody. I know this for sure about everybody. So get your pen and paper out, because this is going to be a big lesson. Right here is that if I told myself that I was going to be okay and my family was going to be okay. Now, I know myself, so I know what I would have to say to myself, which one of these mattered first. Now, everyone who knows me, you could go up to them and say, is this true about Steve? Is this true? It's going to be this. I cared about my family being okay first, and then I cared about myself, because my the way that my personality is that I'm going to care that my family is taken care of first, because I know if they're taken care of first, then I'm taken care of. Now, some people's personalities are the opposite, but it doesn't matter, because both of them is going to override, or it's going to make you feel good. And it's going to make you believe, if you had yourself telling you what you needed to do, it would be either you care about that they told you your family's going to be okay and that you're going to be okay. Or it would be the opposite, and it would be yourself is okay and then your family is okay. Like, I believe it took me from Saturday all the way till today. So more than almost about 24 to 48 hours of thinking about this, thinking about how could I convince myself? And this is why it's so hard to even convince as a business lesson. This is why it's so hard to convince people to be your customer, because just think, if I was having a hard time convincing myself, how hard of a time do you think I would have to convince you for something that I wanted you to do? That's why there is no such thing as convincing anybody of anything. People come to the realization of what they want, how they want it, and then they move forward. So for me to even be able to move forward with what I'm telling myself, showing all the stuff that I would have, that older me would have to say this to the younger me, is that Your family is going to be okay, and yourself is going to be okay. Once we did that, we can start talking about all the other stuff. We can start talking about all the other stuff, because that's when it came down to it. After I thought about it over and over and over again with all the stuff that I got, everything that it came down to my family being okay and myself being okay. And then I was open to listening to my older self. Now, I'm going to touch on some of the things. I'm not going to go into all of the things that of the ideas that came about from what I would tell myself moving forward after I accepted that my family is going to be okay and I'm going to be okay. But here are some of the things that I had, some of the big things that I came up with. So number 3, what I would start to tell myself is that my failures will teach me success. Some people are afraid to fail, so they never can even achieve success, because failure is part of success. I'm going to give you an example, a big one, like a one that would probably make you think the world is about to end. And the reason why I say that is because it happened to me, and I had all of these feelings that came to me, but I made it through it. I was sued. It's been years. It's been so long ago, I don't even think about it anymore. But I was sued for over $100,000. And I ended up settling that lawsuit for $43,000. So this is my older self telling me something that my younger self that didn't have nowhere near $100,000. But I told myself what happened. I said, hey, number 1, your failures will teach you success, and then you're going to be sued for over $100,000. You're going to settle it for $43,000. But let me tell you what's going to result from that failure. Is that failure is going to show you how to make up to now for that business over $3 million. So if I was to ask you, would you exchange $43,000 for $3 million? Of course you would say yes. Well, you're doing that in school right now. You're like, okay, some of you have paid, $40, $50, $60, $70, $100,000. And now you're trying to make that $100,000 or whatever that amount into your future, into income from what you learn. So the same thing with failure is that sometimes you're going to pay with your failure, and the results of that, if you learn from it, that's what I would also tell myself, is that you're teaching yourself success from your failures. So that failure, to now, I had learned 2 things for a business that I had started about how to deal with settling debt, and also about how to build a business from that failure to now up to date for that business close to $3 million. Number 4, what would I say to myself is let stuff go faster. Let stuff go fast. Don't hold on to it. It does. No, if you start to think positive, when something happens, start to think positive right away. When something happens, start to think positive right away. Because if you hold on to it, you're going to be thinking the negative, and you're going to bring more negative into your life. So if something happens, you got to start thinking positive. That is very difficult for some people to do. It's very difficult even for the people who know how to do it, but you have to do it. The next thing is the world did not end like they said it would. There were several things that was happening. In 1990, we were going through a recession. People were like, the dollar is going to go away, too much debt in the United States, all of this stuff. And guess what? It made it through it. Then there was a 2000 recession. Guess what? Made it through it. Then there was a 2008 recession. Guess what? Made it through it. Then it was something I'm telling my younger self, There is something that's going to happen. This virus, you're going to think the world is going to end. And guess what? It's going to go through. And actually, on the other side of that, the economy is going to just blow up. So prepare yourself. If the world is going to end, the world is going to end. Don't sit there worrying about the world ending. There are so many people that sit there and they worry about things that other people tell them is going to happen. And then 5, 6, 7, 10, 20, 30 years later, it hasn't happened, but they're still talking about it. Also, I would tell myself, keep practicing talking in the car, because I used to drive in the car to work. It was a pretty long drive, and I would be talking to myself like, hey, say, like I was on stage talking about business. I used to like do that in the car. And so the internet wasn't around at that time. There was no YouTube around at that time. But guess what? When YouTube came about, I was already comfortable talking about what I used to talk about in the car. So I was already practicing to help people. So there's some things that you're doing right now that you may not even know how that's going to help you move forward in your business. Keep doing it, because you never know how that's going to help you. When I was driving, I didn't know that, hey, practicing and pretending like I'm talking to people, like I'm on stage. Back then, I used to just be like, I'm going to be on stage in front of people. The internet was not invented. YouTube was not invented. But I was already doing that. And then that skill that I taught myself in the car helps me be able to make videos here on YouTube. Helps me be real about what I'm telling you. Like, I don't sit up here making up stuff to tell people. I'm telling you real life experiences that I go through or that I've went through. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that I would, say to myself about learning, lessons learned, and, don't do this for your kids or do that for them, or there's a whole bunch of that stuff. And I'm pretty sure for yourself, if you thought about it, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you would do. But so before my older self left, I flipped my mind over to my younger self and I said, I want to ask you for something. I want to ask you for something, because right now it's 1990, so the internet doesn't exist. So this internet thing you showed me, if it happens, it's going to happen. We don't have that now. So what can you give me to be able to move forward? And then when I get there, I'll get there and enjoy all of that stuff. But what can you give me right now that will help me? And when I thought about that, this is the crazy thing. When I thought about that, this is something that when my wife and I put it together, when we focused on this back then in 1990, so I really didn't even have to tell myself this. I was already doing it. But what I would have told myself is, you need to be more, you need to put more, what's the right word? You need to move forward as if this is 100% the right thing to do, not move forward like, okay, I hope this is working. I hope this can work. Hope this can. You need to just say, hey, this will work. No matter what, you be more intentional. I needed to be more. I would just tell myself, what you put in place, just be more intentional about it. So this is what we had put in place back then. Even though the internet didn't exist, we did this by calling people on the phone and just taking notes on paper and then following back up with people and then making sales. So what we did, and we're talking about 1990, before any internet, and it's even easier now to do it. It's even easier now to do it. What we did is we said, okay, we need to get good at making ads. So back then it was we were the advertisement because we would go into stores and say, hey, we want to help you advertise your business and we can help bring you more customers. We were like our advertisement back then. We would just walk like door to door. Like me and my wife would walk into a business and try to sell them on advertising. So we were our ad. But for you, you just need to get good at making ads for your product or service. This is something that they don't teach in school. I have attorneys who have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in school and they did not learn about how to market their legal service business. Also, something that tends to happen even if you are taught in school is that a lot of people don't have experience in doing what they teach. When my wife and I went up to a business owner and they would say no, yes, whatever they said, had a question, we were getting experience. We were seeing people face to face. You could see and start to understand what they cared about because you were seeing them face to face. You would start to see if they were interested, like you could feel it. When you walked in, you knew how you had to walk into a business. Like you start to learn that because if you don't learn it, then you're going to just get turned down all the time. So there was a lot of stuff on the job training that we learned when we built that business. And all of that stuff helped me understand that there is nothing more important to a business owner than getting them results. There is nothing more important than getting them results, and they don't even care about me, just like you don't care about me. You care about results. You care about getting what you want to get. You care about you and your family being okay from the things that you decide to do, point blank. So, for your business, and this is what we did too, but for your business, you got to get good at this. You got to get good at this. For right now, if your business is struggling, you need to put the other, not to say that the other stuff you done bought and paid for is not good. You may not be ready for that yet. You need to come back down and get to the basics. You need to come back down, get to the basics. The basics is describing what you have to offer with the product or service, getting people to be leads. And leads could be calls, leads could be generating leads, but you got to figure out if your ads are working, not just throwing stuff out there. You got to know if your ads are working. If you only want people to call, you need to have tracking. Don't depend on your employees to tell you that calls came in. You got to have tracking. You're going to know right away if those ads are working if you have call tracking. If you're generating leads, you're going to know right away because you're going to have leads. I posted 4 new ads last night. I was watching the football game, and about 8 o'clock I started posting. I posted 4 new ads. All of those ads are generating leads right now. I looked in there and I was like, phew. They're generating leads. Why they're generating leads? Because I'm very good at making the ads and I know how I want to generate leads. We don't even know about the sales yet. We're getting there for those 4 new ads. But I have tracking to know if those 4 new ads will generate sales. So there's stuff that you will do to enhance all of this. There's stuff that you will do to enhance your leads to become sales. That's stuff that you will learn to do. But for right now, if your business is struggling, I would say right now, if you had, let's just say that you ran ads, you got good at running ads, you got good at generating leads or calls, you knew the tracking, you know what's working, that once you got over here, if you had 10 people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people, and that you knew what you had to offer for your business. You were clear about what you had to offer. You generated the lead, so you know that they want to talk to you about what you had to offer. That I would bet, unless you don't know nothing about your product or service, that if you talk to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that you would make a sale. Let's just say that you don't know, you're very uncomfortable about making sales. But I would bet that still, if you had 10 people, that you would make a sale. Because that's probably what you're doing right now. Like 10 people come in, 10 people call, 10 people fill out your lead form, and you're like your business is surviving right now based off of this right here that you're doing. So all you have to do is get better at this, and you will increase this. So let's just say that you make 1 sale with the 10. So then what would we want to do? Get better at ads, so we would have 20 people, and that would be 2 sales. That's not even making you better at making sales. That's just all we're doing. All we're doing is just increasing the number of people who would raise their hand or call to be interested in your product or service. So then let's say that you had 30 people. So now you have 3 sales. Right there. Like, let's just leave it right there. So you might be saying to yourself, well, it's going to cost me more to get that. It's already costing you. See, that's the thing, is that you don't even know what you don't know. It is already costing you sales. So that's costing you money. You just, because you don't have the money, you didn't make the sale, you think that it's not costing you anything. It is costing you something if you don't have the sale, because you cannot back up and go back to tomorrow. Like we talked about earlier in the video, you cannot really go back to the past. So every lead that you missed today or that you missed yesterday could have potentially been added into this number or this number. Every lead that you missed the day before that, the day before that. So really, you are losing money every day that you're not doing this formula for your business. You're losing, and you got to do this right. You can't do it the wrong way. You're literally losing money. So you think that you're either saving money by not marketing your business, or you think that you're not losing money because you made 1 sale when you lost money every day that you did not push hard to generate more leads so you can make more sales. And that's a business at the lowest level. Like, that's a business that's just surviving. Now you might be saying, okay, well, Steve, I got 20 leads, 30. This is something that a lot of the like insurance agents or people who generate leads, this is what they'll say. They'll be like, well, I generated, I got 30 leads and I made 3 sales. That meant that 27 people were not qualified, or it's a waste of time to just generate all of those leads and not do. It's a waste of time to generate those leads and not have something to help nurture those leads to understand your business. Like, don't blame it on the leads. Don't blame it on the leads. Blame it on you for what you're doing to describe what your business's benefits or outcome will be from them doing business by buying your product or service. So do a better job at that. That's where you're going to end up right here. So we didn't even get to that part. So for the 27 people, if you have 27 leads, what would be the next idea to help convert more of those 27 people who did not convert from the original 30? Well, you would need a follow-up process. Not everybody is going to buy from you when they first see you. That just does not happen. That is a total misconception about business. And another misconception about business is that you don't need everybody. So out of the 27 people who didn't buy, a large number of the 27 people will never buy. They will never buy from you. So go ahead and get that in your head. Like I said earlier, with me going back, it's like, let stuff go. If you do your part to let this 27 people, really all 30, but you let everybody know about the benefits of your product or service, and you put that in an understandable way, not where it's talking about you, it's talking about what their end result is, you're going to convert more of that 30 people. You're going to start to see over time that more people are going to convert, more people are going to convert, more people are going to convert. But you're getting better at this. Over time, you're going to get better at this, you're going to get better at this, you're going to get better at this. And there are ways that you can nurture those 27 people by reaching out with email, by reaching out with text, having them go back to see what you had to offer. Remember, people are busy with their lives. They don't know. They got all types of stuff going on, and they're not always ready at the time that you want them to be ready. But if you're not a business that's going to, advertise and then keep yourself in front of those people, so when they are ready, they choose you, then you're just going to be a struggling business. Like almost 99% of the businesses out there is just struggling to get by because they have no real plan to bring in leads or calls and then to nurture them to become customers. They just don't really have a plan. Their plan is just advertise. And then if not, then just post. That's their plan. So if you want to learn more about how you can get something like this put in place for your business, where you can learn how to do it step by step, there's a link either below or above or below this video where I will show you what we did before the internet existed, and then now that the internet existed, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. All right. Thank you for your time. Please post your questions, comments. Please subscribe to the channel. This is Stephen A. Williams with Making Money with Stephen A. Williams here on YouTube.